Just, it seems like yesterday they were celebrating our entrance there and cheering us as saviors as we got rid of Gaddafi. Now they're trying to kill all our State Department officials.
Apparently, the Muslims find it offensive to depict Muhammad in any fashion, let alone like this. It's interesting, though, because after the trouble started, our U.S. Embassy put out a statement that has really gotten some attention this morning. It said, quote, "The Embassy of the U.S. in Cairo condemns the continuing efforts by the misguided individuals to hurt the religious feelings of Muslims as we condemn efforts to offend believers of all religions."
The White House says, hey, listen, we didn't give permission to release that statement, and indicating that isn't their sentiment. Can you believe in a time in which we were attacked, somebody thought, some official thought it was okay to put out a statement that shows us conciliatory while our people in harm's way in Cairo are fighting for their lives?
So here's the retraction. The administration retracts the original statement. Here's the official one. The statement by Embassy Cairo was not cleared by Washington and does not reflect the views of the United States government. I mean, no matter what statement you're looking at this morning, this can turn into a huge mess at this point in time. If the ambassador to Libya is now dead, for sure confirmed that a U.S. diplomat is dead. If the ambassador to Libya is now dead and you have those uprisings in Cairo right now, guess what, folks? Foreign policy is suddenly back in the forefront of an election that's less than 60 days away.
And that was a disgraceful statement from the State Department. Absolutely. Instead of outrage for the attacks, and then we walk back by the White House. Who is anyone running this place?
Yeah.
I mean, how could that happen? What disorganization? This is something where the president, in my mind, has to be directly involved with the Secretary of State.
Sure. Plus, in addition to that statement that they put out and then they retracted, apparently they also sent out a tweet from the Cairo embassy that said, quote, "We consistently stand up for Muslims around the world and talk about how Islam is a wonderful religion." Well,
what does that mean?
Yeah, what does that mean? Charles Krauthammer finds the apology absolutely disgraceful. He said such last night. Listen.
Statement is an embarrassment. That's a hostage statement. That's a mob of al-Qaeda sympathizers in Egypt forcing the United States into making a statement essentially of apology on 9/11 of all days for something of which we are not responsible. I would issue a statement saying to the mob, go to hell. The way America works, where the way a democracy works, is that everybody has a right to express themselves. We don't police our speech. And you ought to apologize to the United States for storming an embassy and the violation of the ultimate sacred principle of democracy, which is protecting embassies and missions abroad. For the U.S. to essentially issue a veiled apology, I think is disgraceful.
With a Fox News alert this morning, reports emerging that the U.S. ambassador to Libya and 3 other staff members have been killed after being targeted by gunmen firing rockets.
They do tell us that there is one American not identified who has been killed. This followed an attack on that consulate by Islamists. They were protesting an independent film made in the United States said to be critical of the Muslim prophet Muhammad, and it's gotten some play on the internet in the Arab world, and that is rousing up feelings. Now, according to reports, again, unconfirmed reports, the U.S. ambassador was killed when he and others were trying to get other staffers out of the consulate in Benghazi, Libya, which was under attack, which was in fact burning down. Rocket-propelled grenades flying around the car that they were in as they were trying to get in that very dramatic scene. Now, folks, this followed yet another assault on the U.S. Embassy in Cairo, Egypt yesterday. Again, protesters there very angry about this very same film. They scaled the walls. They tore down and burned the U.S. flag there. They displayed a black flag with Arabic writing. No injuries reported there yesterday. We have been in contact with U.S. staffers at the American Embassy in Cairo today. They say there are no problems. They say they're getting on with work. But again, some dramatic information, which we're waiting for a complete confirmation on, coming from various sources, that a U.S. ambassador, the U.S. ambassador to Libya, as well as 3 other Americans killed in a dramatic scene at the U.S. consulate in Benghazi, Libya, overnight. More.
Christopher Stevens is the U.S. ambassador to Libya. 52 career diplomat who spoke Arabic and French, served 2 tours in Libya, including running the offices in Benghazi during the revolt against Gaddafi. So he was confirmed as ambassador to Libya by the Senate earlier this year. If in fact those reports are true, Christopher Stevens, 52 years old, the report is that he has been killed.
That's been confirmed by the Associated Press and Reuters as the whole crowd, I believe it was in Cairo, started saying, "We are all Osama bin Laden. We are all Osama bin Laden."
Right.
Bruce Hershenson, who worked in both the administrations of Richard Nixon and Ronald Reagan, takes a look at, he joined us about an hour ago, he takes a look at what's happening over there, and he says very clearly, we are at war. This is an act of war. Listen.
These are all acts of war. A U.S. embassy should be as safe as your living room. If you're overseas and you go to an embassy of a foreign country, you are in that foreign country. And by all international law, those are acts of war. For God's sake, stay home and be commander-in-chief.